everybody, it's Angela. Sorry, my lighting still sucks. Still waiting to get a new camera for Christmas. So, sorry, it's really cold in the room. I decided to make a video kind of talking a little bit about my disease that I have. Sorry if I'm talking so strange. I just finished my second round of chemotherapy today. So my mouth kind of gets these sores, and they're really, really painful, and it makes it really hard to talk and swallow as well. But if you guys have ever heard of canker sores, which I know they're not just a side effect of chemotherapy, anyone can get canker sores. They're horrible and painful and just awful. So very awful. So my disease is AML, which stands for acute myeloid leukemia. And leukemia is a form of cancer that runs in the blood and the bones. And what's going on is that my bone marrow is focusing so much on making just one type of cell, and that is the cancer cell. And it's making so many of them, and it's just saying go, 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 and they're coming out, but they're not yet fully formed into where they needed to be yet. And so what I'm lacking in white and red blood cells. So what they're trying to do is the chemotherapy kind of makes my bone marrow start producing the right kind of blood cells again. And on my first round, there were still cancer cells seen, so we didn't get as much done as we wanted to in the first round, so we kind of fell behind. But in the second round, I am doing pretty good because my ANC levels, which is my absolute neutrophil count, and that is pretty much kind of like my immune system, sort of. Well, the average that they want to start you at, because a high level for a cancer patient is 1,000, and the regular adult levels are about 5,000 to 6,000. And oddly enough, they were very impressed to see that mine were up to 6,300 even after starting chemo, which is when they should be really far down. My last one I was down to 20. And so they were really shocked because right now I'm up to 6,300. And since I just finished another round, they're going to see if I'm still pretty high up. So far so good. For today, usually the side effects should have already started by now, but the only ones that have started are the canker sores. And I've kind of learned how to deal with those because I had those for quite some time the last time that I did chemo. If you see me keep looking over here, it's because my machine over here, which I cannot seem to get. That is Butthead. He goes off every hour. Oh, and that is my giant mockingjay poster. Since I'm in the hospital, I can't go see it, but I have posting. And back here is my wall of cards. So whenever someone sends me a card, I tape it to my wall. I will leave my mailing address in the description below in case you want to, like, mail me a card, and I will always try and mail you back. And so, with my disease, the chemotherapy has a lot of side effects. But not all of them are just from the chemotherapy. Some of them are from the medicines that they give you while on chemo. So, as you know, they make your hair fall out, but in between cycles, your hair starts growing back a little, so there's like some stubble. But then on your next round of chemo, all the stubble starts to fall out, and your eyebrows and your eyelashes fall out, but they don't all, your eyelashes and eyebrows don't, and your hair, it doesn't all fall out in one round. So what we had to do with my hair is it was like, I would run my hands through my hair, and I would have a huge glob of hair in my hand. And I would just be pulling my hair out in huge clumps. And since my hair was so thick, there was so much of it. And so we really didn't want that anymore because it's really hard to just see your hair falling out everywhere. So my mom and I cut it really close, and then we shaved it, and then we took we did a buzz cut with like a beard trimmer. and then we literally got like the close shave, and with just a plain razor from Walmart. And I think we used Noxzema instead of shaving cream because it's supposed to be more gentle on your head. And that worked out pretty well. And then my eyelashes and my eyebrows are falling out. Like, they're getting a lot thinner than they used to be. And also, along with this, what we do is chemo for either 10 to 8 days. Then we take a break in between, and then during that break in between, the whole point is for me to start building up my ANC levels more and more and more and more. And then the more ANC levels that I have, the better it is. And so last time they started me on a low ANC count, which was 800. But within 2 days, even on chemotherapy, where it's supposed to be dropping, I went up very high. And they were very shocked by that. So when I first got here, which was a month and a half ago, I was officially diagnosed October 22nd, and I officially made it here October 23rd at 2 a.m. from the helicopter. And when I first got here, they were thinking that I was so bad that I was going to die. They thought that I was just going to flat out die. So when they found out that I wasn't going to die, it was really great. And they said that I would only have to be in the hospital for 6 months. And that is actually a really short amount of time for a cancer patient. Usually it's 2 years. And so I'm only in here for about 4 more months. So I am really excited. But the hardest thing is that I'm 5 hours away from my home, and I live in a very small town where we don't have a very good hospital, and we get a lot of snow. And since we're so far away from a good hospital that would know how to treat me, I'm not allowed to go back home, and my friends can't come up to visit me or anything like that. I'm just kind of stuck here. And since I'm so, like, susceptible to germs at the moment, I can't really leave the hospital, and all I can really do is walk around outside of my room, and I have to be wearing a mask. And last time that I had my chemo, I caught a bug, and I had an inflammation in my intestines. And the bug was one that's very contagious, and so I wasn't allowed to leave my room because they were so afraid that I would give it to other patients. And my nurses had to wear, like, these big yellow gowns and gloves and masks whenever they came into my room because they don't want to get all the other patients sick, like I was. Because, trust me, it was just not fun at all. And what they'll do if you can't eat is they put you on a feeding bag. And that is just not fun, and because you always feel hungry, and it messes with your liver, and it's just not good at all. Let's see. What else do I need to talk about tonight? Well, here's my little update. So, since I just finished that round, I will be off chemo for a few days. And then hopefully, and I will be getting another bone marrow and spinal tap, and those are something you get regularly. It's where they put a needle in your lower back, sort of like at the very bottom near where your hip is, and they stick a big needle in it, and they suck out some of the inside of your bone, and they go and test it, and then they stick a needle in your spine. And they're wanting to get, like, fluid in your brain. It kind of, like, it drips out of this, like, the needle, which is like a tube. And so then what they do is they go and test that. And they're just making sure that there's no cancer in your brain or back there. And then the marrow one is testing to see if it's making the correct cells. And then once a week they're testing. Lots of people just walk over. Once a week they test my blood, and I have something called a Brocac, which, if you have leukemia, you will probably get placed. And it's right here. And it's just a tube going into an incision site right there in my chest. And then it goes up over my shoulder, and they'll make the incision up here in your shoulder to put it in. As you can see, I sort of have like a scar. And then it goes up over your shoulder, and it goes through your collarbone, and it drips down into one of the main arteries of your heart. And yeah, so hopefully I'll be going in to get my spinal tap and marrow done soon, because the way that I see it, I don't see it as they're going to be putting me down sooner, like with the chemo. I don't see it as they're going to be putting me on chemo sooner, because I don't really care, because the sooner that they put me on my next round of chemo, the sooner it's done, the sooner I get to start my next one, the sooner I get to finish my 4 cycles, the sooner I get to go home. And the sooner I go home, the more of a chance that I have to get to go back to my dance competition, to get to go back to school, and to get to see my family again. Mom and Dad are here with me, sisters are coming up for Christmas, but I don't get to see Grandma, I don't get to see aunties, I don't get to see my uncles, don't get to see my cousins, don't get to see my friends. They're all back home. I'm kind of getting emotional, but it just kind of happens when you're here. And, it just really sucks living in hospital, because it's lonely, and you have nothing to do, and you're always feeling sick. But the way that I see it is that I'm the child of God, and as long as I stay that way, as long as I know that He's here, He won't let anything bad happen to me. So thank you for watching my videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I can really use all the support I can get. And if you want to send me a card, if you do send me a card, you will see it up on my wall. It takes a few weeks to get here. But you will see it up on my wall. The next letter I get can have that little corner right there. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.